Hello, friends. You're invited to live your spirit consciously and authentically. Most people aren't living with intention. They're running old childhood patterns. You may experience fear, stress, anxiety, or even chronic pain that doesn't fully go away. This is where emotional intelligence becomes power and freedom. Welcome to Living Your Spirit with Anthony. In each episode, we explore moving through emotional pain, living more authentically, and stepping outside the old matrix of fear and stepping into conscious living. Hello, friends. This is Freedom Friday number 8, and I just put out another episode that was really long. It was about 25 minutes. And I titled it Freedom Friday in the actual recording, but it went way too long. So I figured I would re-record something shorter for my Freedom Friday people that kind of come over to listen to something that is much shorter. And it is creating long-lasting relationships. Okay, so in the longer version, if you want to go over there and listen to that episode, it gives you a lot more detail. But for Freedom Friday, creating lasting relationships means from the very first date, the very first interaction even, you're honest, you're open, you're authentic. You're telling the person what you like, what you love, what you don't like, what you don't love, why. I don't like flying in an airplane because, or I don't like walking in the woods at night because, and then you can move over to other stuff, of course. Maybe you want to do this on the third date or the second date or the fifth date. But my point is you want to get across all the things that you really want, all of the things that you really need before you decide, this is the person for me. I want to get married. Oh, we're engaged. Because in case you have not noticed, relationships are not lasting. Marriages are not lasting. And the reason for that is no one understands anything about themselves or the person they're getting into a relationship or a marriage with. And the only way we can do that is if we are honest, open, and authentic. And when I say we, I mean both people in the relationship. When you go out with someone, you tell them what you like, you tell them what you love, you ask thousands of questions, you see how they act, react, behave, respond. You look at their eyes, you look at their mouths, you look at their body language, and you have fun. You don't make this a big test and you're not analyzing and over analytical, but you do want to eventually ask important questions. What do you want? What do you think you want? If you're on your fifth date, you're not really asking about marriage and families and children. But by the 20th date, you should certainly be asking really, really tough, in-depth, valid questions. And you should be expecting answers that you really want to hear. If you don't hear answers that you really want to hear, people, maybe this is not the person for you. And if you've dated someone for a year and now they're answering things in a manner that you don't agree with or don't align with what you want, you probably waited too long to ask some really important questions. And whether that's because you were afraid or you didn't want to be left or broken up with or abandoned, it's kind of like, well, now we're at the point where you're probably going to be left or broken up with or abandoned anyway, so you might as well get it over with in the first few months. Wouldn't you like to know that someone is really on board with you and that you're on board with them and you kind of both really want the same things. And when I say really want the same things, I mean, you're not lying. You're not telling a half truth. You're not faking it. You're not trying to be nice. You're not trying to sound smart. You're not trying to sound wealthy. You're not trying to sound intelligent. You're just being whoever the hell you are. And you don't care if there's never another date with this person again after that. Because you know in that moment, you're being honest, open, and real. And that's the most important thing to you because that's the most important thing in a long-lasting relationship. So it doesn't matter if you're on date number 5 and you dump some stuff on this person that they really don't feel comfortable with, and then they break up. They stop calling. They stop texting. Maybe they don't even have a real answer. Or maybe they do. Well, I didn't really like what you said. Okay, well, that's great. Now I know that you didn't really like what I said. I understand why the relationship will not continue. There's no need to jump through hoops. Oh my God, well, I could change, or I overreacted, or maybe I was asking, or you didn't hear me right. That's a bunch of crock shit right there. You know what you want. Don't backpedal when the person decides they don't want you. Be okay. Be empowered. Look for the next person. Look for the person that is really on board with what you want and what you need, because that's the person that's going to give it to you. So 5 years down the road, when you suddenly decide to take off your mask and tell the truth because you can't handle not telling the truth anymore, you can't stand being fake and inauthentic, you can't pretend any longer, the mask is going to come off anyway. The person's going to find out who you really are anyway. And do you think that the relationship's going to last at that point? It's not. They never do. That's why so many people are getting divorced. People in my Facebook group are getting divorced after 20 years or 25 years. And they will say, oh, I got served with papers today. I was blindsided. I didn't know. I thought everything was okay. And it's like, unless you are, dare I say it, a complete idiot, you're not in a long-term relationship for 20 years, married to someone, and you never suspected or thought or felt that the relationship could end. If you are in that situation, then the person played a really good game. My guess is you were not honest, you were not open, and you were not authentic. And the other person was doing the same thing. So you have two fake people faking it for 15, 20, 25 years, and suddenly they can't take it anymore. Their body, their mind is fighting to be free. So the mask comes off, they say things, they do things, they start acting in certain ways, and then they want out. That could all be avoided if you were honest, open, and real on date number 1. But we lie. We tell untruths. We make things up. We create fantasies. We create stories. We say, this is what I like, because we think we sound important or intelligent or wealthy or smart or whatever you want to call it. And then once we tell the first lie, we need to tell more lies. And then we need to keep up with those lies. And the years go by and we're getting married. And then we have kids. And then 5 years in, we say we don't understand what happened, or we grew apart, or we went in different directions. You were never going in the right direction anyway. So why go through all the trouble and all the expense of marriage and all the agony of having children, and dare I say it, in some cases, destroying a child's life because you couldn't be honest, open, real, and authentic in the beginning of your dating stages. That's a lot to think about, right? But it's stuff that's good to think about because you can be the change. You can be the one that says, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be open. I'm going to ask for what I want. I'm going to say what I need. And I'm going to be sure that this person can give it to me. And that's going to be the person that's the right person for me. And that's going to be the person that stays with me and loves me and supports me and helps me feel safe and connected and loved. Versus, I tell a little lie here, they tell a little lie there. We don't really know each other. We don't really know ourselves. But hey, we got married because everyone else did, or all of our friends did. I have friends that got married because everyone else got married. And then they had kids because everyone else had kids. And then they all started getting divorces. That's preposterous, people. Come on, get with it. We're shifting everything. Consciousness is changing. Living your spirit is changing. Being honest, open, and authentic is changing. The universe, God, the world, source, whatever you want to call it, is pulling everyone in the direction of being authentic, showing our true selves. And why would we be doing that? Because just like you lie and you fake it and you pretend and you find a partner, when you're all open, all authentic, all honest, you still find a partner. But now it's a true connection. It's true love. It's a true match. It's true authenticity. And it lasts way longer than the fake ones. So that's how you make relationships last. In 2026, we're going into summer. A bunch of people are getting engaged and getting married and walking down the aisle and writing their checks for $50,000 for the weddings and their $10,000 checks for their honeymoons. And then 5 years from now, they'll be waiting to exhale after the divorce papers are signed. Don't be that person. Be the one that makes it last. Be the one that does it differently. Be the one that does the thing that gets you the things and the people that you really want, that you really love, that really support you, that really trust you, and that really keep you in their hearts for years and years to come. Thanks for listening. I'll talk with you next week. Hello, friends. Do you have a question about something you heard in this episode? Or do you have your own personal story that you would like to share with the audience? Please go to the show notes and click on Fan Mail to send me a text message. I'll be sure to feature your question in an upcoming episode or contact you so that you can be a guest. If you would like to join the 5-Day Clarity Challenge, please go to CoachAJ.com and click on the pop-up box that shows up as soon as you hit the website. Thanks for listening. We'll connect really soon.